Let's talk to Lee Anderson, Conservative MP for Ashfield. Lee, a very good morning to you. Welcome.
Good morning, Michael.
Always good to have you in the Independent Republic, Lee, so thank you very much for joining us. Just let's kick off with this. I don't know if you've had a chance to see this video. You might not have done, but you'll know what I'm describing. It's a young guy, a security guard, fighting off these youths. There's about 6 or 7 of them coming at him, you know, punches being thrown, they're kicking him. He's been criticised because he fought back. I mean, I think he's entitled to fight back. But, I mean, unfortunately, it's a snapshot of an awful lot of what's going on around us at the moment. Very violent Britain at the moment. What can we do?
Well, it's awful, Mark. It would appear that, you know, in certain parts of the country, the police have lost control of the streets. Now, look, you know, back in the day when I was a teenager, if you'd been taking part in that sort of behaviour, you'd have got a clip, more than a clip round the hero off the local bobbies. You'd have been in the back of the van. You'd have been dealt with swiftly, should I say, not arrested, and sent on your way. Normally with a reminder, should I say, of what you've been up to. But look, this is serious, and you're quite right, Mike, what you're saying. That, you know, the police are spending far too much time now dancing the Macarena, painting rainbows on their police cars, you know, taking the knee, trying to be trendy and hip and getting down with the kids, when really what the great British public want, they want the robbers and the thieves arresting, and they want these idiots, these hooligans, locking up and putting away.
Exactly right. And I mean, hopefully Suella Braverman is going to be taking steps in that direction. She's already told a lot of the police not to be so woke, and she wants them to get on with getting those crime figures down. But she's also making a speech today, hopefully setting out with a new law which will prevent it, or at least stop it being so easy for people to land on our shores and live here.
Well, that's right, Mike. I mean, this is... I was with Suella last night at an event where we both spoke, actually. And she spoke at length about the small boats. And you know what? This new law she's going to bring in, where, you know, if you enter this country illegally, you cannot claim asylum. I mean, this is music to my ears. This is what several of us in the blue collar and the common sense group have been asking for since day one. I just can't understand why this wasn't part of the Borders Bill. If you come here illegally, then there's no way you're going to claim asylum. That stops it straight away. Yes,
because that's what they did in Australia, and it worked very well there, didn't it?
Well, it works very well. You know, they've got the pushbacks in Australia. They've got this law, what you quite rightly say, where if you do enter the country illegally, you're a criminal straight away, and it's illegal to do that, and you're sent packing. We've got to do that. I mean, we spent over 18 months with this Borders Bill. It's, you know, there's loopholes in there, and we're challenging it through the courts. A simple law would stop all that.
Yeah, it really would. And I mean, obviously, the Tory party have been in charge for 12 years, as we keep hearing from Labour, and this hasn't ever really been properly sorted. And it looks as though now it could be as many as 50 to 60,000 arrivals this year alone if it isn't stopped. Are you confident that this time somehow the ECHR and the European Court of Human Rights lawyers won't somehow stop it from happening?
Well, I hope so, Mike. I mean, Suella's making the right noises. I'm embarrassed, and I apologise to your listeners and your viewers about this every time I come on. You know, we've been having this conversation. I've been making excuses for 18 months now about the channel crossings. There is a simple solution. I think Suella's hit the nail on the head. Whereas if you enter this country illegally, then you go straight away. You're not claiming asylum. I mean, I don't know where the people traffickers go from there. If they know that the money they're taking is going to be wasted, if people think that they're going to waste £5 coming in to be sent straight back or sent to Rwanda, then that hopefully stops it. We've been taken for mugs. It makes me angry, Mike, when I see these illegal immigrants, and they are illegal immigrants. They're not genuine asylum seekers, as I said before. They're living in tents in Calais. And then they get here and they're picked up and put in 4-star hotels. It's an absolute disgrace.
Yeah, and Serco are actually looking for residences for them at a time when people in this country are struggling to find housing, struggling to get enough roofs over their heads themselves. They're looking for people to give them houses so they can rent them for 5 years, they say, guaranteeing the council tax is paid, guaranteeing the rent is paid. It's all our money.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the hard-working British taxpayer, you know, are having to dig deep in their pockets to make sure that, you know, people that's less fortunate in our society can afford their heating bills, Mike, their electric and their gas. And remember, the middle-income earners now are feeling the pinch in this country with their fuel bills skyrocketing, yet we're spending £5 or £6 million a day on illegal immigrants. And you know what? It's about time Parliament, the whole of Parliament, all 650 MPs, come together, stop. This is a national crisis. I said in the chamber just last month, this is a national emergency, and I wish we'd all wake up and get it dealt with as soon as possible.
Great. Lee, where do you stand on this argument about, paying people benefits and giving them a pay rise, effectively? There seems to be a row going on in the party. Some people want it to be pegged to inflation. Others want it pegged to earnings. It doesn't make much sense from a Tory perspective for me if you're giving people a bigger pay rise for not working than you're giving to people who are working.
Well, it makes no sense at all, Mike. I mean, you've got people just about managing in Ashfield on 20, 25 grand a year. Some of them are public sector workers, some are private workers. They're getting 2, 3, 4% pay rise. And then they're saying to, your next door neighbour who might not be at work that you're going to get a 10% pay rise. That don't sit well, Michael. Now, no. I know there are people that's in work that's on universal credits and in work benefits, but, we cannot be a country, we cannot have a workforce that continually puts their hand out to government for a pay rise. Back in the day, when I bought my first house in 1990, interest rates were 15%. I couldn't afford to buy my house. I had to work a Saturday and a Sunday shift down the pit. I didn't go out with a begging bowl, complaining on social media or complaining to the government that I can't afford my house. I did what we all did and what a lot of people are doing today. I dug deep and put the hours in.
Right. Because that's the thing. People seem to expect the government now to hand out money to them because they haven't got enough. I mean, that doesn't seem to me to be the way forward.
It's not fair, Mike. What you're doing. People say it's government money. It's not government money. It's your money. Yeah. It's my money. It's my neighbour's money. It's my friend's money. You're asking them to dig deep to give to somebody else. And if that other person's not prepared to put a full shift in at work or a full 40 hours or do that little bit of overtime, that's not fair, Michael. I want to see a fair society where people are treated fairly.
Yeah, well said. Couldn't agree more. Lee, very well done. Thank you very much indeed. Lee Anderson, Conservative MP for Ashfield there.